Hello everyone. In this video, I will be talking about the Dragon Quest Zenith series. As explained in another video, the stories of DQ 4, 5 and 6 are connected. The chronological order is 6, 4, 5, and this is official information from the manufacturer. The characters that appear in each story have various relationships, such as those of ancestors and descendants. This time's content includes official information and speculation that is not, but I will talk about the connections between each character. So let's have fun. First of all, I have to explain a little bit about the story of DQ6. This is the general outline of the story of DQ6. There are two important things in the story so far. One is that the main character's body is split into two, the real world and the dream world. And when the separated bodies came back together as one, gained great strength. In other words, those who have both the power of the real world and the dream world are the ones who are called heroes. But one question arises. These weapons and armor are called legendary equipment and can only be equipped by true heroes. In DQ6, can go to the Cloud's Gate Citadel floating in the sky for the first time by equipping legendary equipment. The legendary equipment that appeared in DQ6 will also appear in DQ4 with a slightly different name and appearance. In DQ4, it is called equipment in the Zenith and is necessary equipment to go to the castle Zenithia floating in the sky. Only the main character can equip these in DQ6. Therefore, he is passed down as a legendary hero. But why was he the only one able to equip these? He is not the only one who has the power of both the real world and the dream world. For example, Carver who travels with him has similar powers. However, Carver cannot master these. Why is it? I will explain it, although it includes some speculation. One of the legendary equipment, Sword of Ramias, is said to be the sword used by the former hero Ramias in the novel version of DQ6. The main character is the royal family of Somnia, but what if the royal family of Somnia are descendants of Ramias? If think about it that way, it makes sense why only he can use legendary equipment. In the DQ of the Zenith series, hero is thought to refer to such a person. One of the characteristics is the ability to use legendary equipment. Another characteristic is that they have the power of both the real world and dream world. Protagonist of DQ4 has both of these characteristics. This is because protagonist of DQ4 is a descendant of protagonist of DQ6. Protagonist of DQ is born between a human and sky person, and a sky person is a dweller of the dream world. Cloud's Gate Citadel, that appears in DQ6, and Zenithia, that appears in DQ4 are the same castle, although they have different names. Cloud's Gate Citadel once existed in the dream world, and the residents of that castle were said to be residents of the dream world, and the people on the ground in DQ4 will be residents of the real world in DQ6. In other words, the protagonist of DQ4, whose parents are a human on the ground and a sky person, is a person who has both the power of the real world and dream world. And because he has the blood of the protagonist of DQ6 inches, he can master legendary equipment. I think you can understand the connection between the main characters of DQ4 and DQ6 from the explanation up to this point. So, what about DQ5? Although it is not official, fans believe that he is a descendant of Sorrow. The reason why fans think so is his mother, Mata. In DQ5, Mata is the only being with the power to open the door between the human world and demon world. This led to believe that Mata and her son, protagonist of DQ5 inches, were Sorrow descendants. By the way, in DQ5, these three girls are the descendants of protagonist of DQ4 and 6. These three people are descendants of Sky Person. In other words, their son is a descendant of the protagonist of DQ4 and 6, and has human and sky person blood. That's why these two are heroes with great power hidden within them. Fans have speculated that the two children may have inherited strong, separate powers. The boys who can use legendary equipment have inherited the hero power of the Somnia royal family, and the girls who can use demon tools have inherited the demon power of Sorrow. Fans are speculating. If look at this lineage in chronological order, it looks like this. When look at it this way, it feels strange. I hope that you have understood the connection between the main characters of Dragon Quest in the Zenith series with the explanations so far. Next, let's take a look at the connections between characters other than the main character. From here, I will talk about the connections between characters other than the main character. This information is not official information, but speculation among fans. However, these are interesting speculations, so I'll share them with you. Let's start with Carver and Millie from DQ6. It is speculated that the two got married after the story. When these two become a couple, it reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. What happened to the descendants of these two in DQ4 and 5? Several characters who are said to be their descendants appear in DQ4. One of them is Elena. She is a beautiful princess, but a tomboy with strong arms. Her beautiful appearance is similar to Millie, and her physical strength is similar to Carver. As such, it is speculated that she is a descendant of the two. There are other characters besides Elena who are presumed to be descendants of the two. Sisters Maya and Mina. Millie has trained under the fortune teller Madame Luca, so it's no surprise that Mina has inherited her powers. Maya may have strongly inherited the blood of the physical Carver. There are several factors that lead us to believe that these sisters are descendants of Carver and Millie. If this hypothesis is correct, then Elena and sisters Maya and Mina are related. Next, let's take a look at what their offspring will look like in DQ5, although this information is based on fan speculation. Let's start with Elena's descendants. It's Prince Harry of Coburg. Harry appears as a hopeless, mischievous prince in his childhood, but as a young man he fights alongside the protagonist for a short time and becomes his best friend. Elena was also famous as Santime's most tomboyish princess, so it can be said that her personality is similar to Harry's in childhood. The two also have one thing in common: they are members of the royal family. It was speculated that Harry was a descendant of Elena due to their similar personalities and the fact that they were both royalty. Next, let's take a look at characters who are presumed to be descendants of Maya and Mina. The characters who are presumed to be their descendants are both from a desert country called Telpador. Considered to be a descendant of Mina is Queen Cleopatra of Telpador. Cleopatra does not have a big role in DQ5, but she is reminiscent of the fortune teller Mina, such as predicting the end of the world with fortune telling. It is speculated that Maya's descendant is Cleo, a dancer in the port town of Lodestar Harbor. She has a line that says, "I can only continue to be a dancer while young, so will you marry me?" And in a sense, she is said to be one of the potential brides among her fans. She is also from the country Telpador, ruled by Queen Cleopatra. When visit her parents' house, we'll learn about her past when she ran away from home and became a dancer. If she really is a descendant of Maya, then their free-spiritedness is similar. In DQ6, two wise brothers named Isaac and Benjamin appear. Characters who are presumed to be descendants of these brothers also appear in DQ4 and 5. Their descendant who appears in DQ4 is Christo. He is a priest who serves the Saintheim royal family, and is intelligent, good-looking, and popular with women. In the second chapter of DQ4, he travels with Elena, and he has an unrequited love for her. However, since Elena is the princess of the royal family he serves, I think his love was probably not fulfilled. A character who is presumed to be a descendant of Christo will appear in DQ5. This is Maria, whom met during time as a slave and who later became a nun. She went through harsh experiences from an early age, losing her older brother at the cost of her own life. Perhaps because of this, she is a very intelligent and kind woman. By the way, Maria marries Harry in the middle of the story. As I said earlier, Harry is speculated to be a descendant of Elena, and Maria is a descendant of Christo. If this hypothesis is correct, Christo's love would have been fulfilled hundreds of years later in the era of DQ5. I like this hypothesis because it's a heartwarming story when think about it that way. If look at this lineage in chronological order, it looks like this. I find it interesting that Christo's love is fulfilled beyond time. A character who appears to be a descendant of Tulun, who appears in DQ4, appears in DQ5. That's Rodrigo Briscoletti. The two of them have some things in common. In the scene in which Tulun appears in Chapter 5, he goes out to subjugate the monsters that have inhabited the lighthouse. Meanwhile, Rodrigo has lived in a port town with a lighthouse for generations, and has been monitoring the monsters sealed in the lighthouse. He is raising Nira and Deborah, who are not his biological daughters, as if they were his own children. Also, even if he did not choose to marry Nira or Deborah, he was very fond of the protagonist and treated him very well. He is a wealthy man with a great personality, and maybe a descendant of Tulun, as fans have speculated. Did you enjoy this video? As I mentioned at the beginning, the content I have shared this time contains information that is not official information. However, even if this information is just speculation, I think it will be more enjoyable to play DQ with these things in mind. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching until the end. Goodbye.